All right, Goblins, quiet down. It's time for the Clash Royale League in North America. Our first match today features 6th-ranked Counter-Logic Gaming against 3rd-ranked Cloud9. Will Cloud9 remain amongst the region's elite, or will CLG rain on their parade? I've got my umbrella just in case.
When these two squads last met, it was Geo for the second time going 4 games in 1v1, that time coming out on top in a very close lowest tower situation. But Wings has something to say, hoping he can help his squad fly on his back to the top of the standings. Hello and welcome to Clash Royale League. I'm Rich Slayton. Joining me is Andrew Guy for the final day of our 8th week here at CRL. Only a few games remain, and the ones we have today are oh so important for that playoff picture.
Absolutely. As we look into these standings right now, a big day for Cloud9, looking to secure their position in 2nd with a win today. CLG on the bottom here in 6th place, not going to be making it to playoffs, but they do have a chance to make Cloud9's path just a little bit more difficult.
And that path, very important. As you know, our playoff picture, the 3 and 4 teams meet in the first round. Winner plays the 2nd place team. The winner of that goes on to play the first. So Cloud9 has a shot to bypass round number 1 and even put themselves in contention for that 1st place spot and a chance at going to Japan.
Yes, Tokyo, Japan, December 1st. Rich and I will both be there. We are so excited. You can hop in-game to your news tab and figure out how you guys can join us there.
This isn't the only game that we're having today that affects that playoff picture. Later, we're getting into compLexity versus Tribe Gaming, both in contention, both in danger of falling out of the playoffs with TSM nipping at their heels. But right now, it's Cloud9 making their push to try to secure that number 2 and trying to make this push happen. It, of course, is Cloud9 and facing off against CLG.
Yes, CLG coming out with Backstab X, Skills, Laddie, and Geo. Cloud9, on the other hand, we got C. McHugh, Wings, Baron, and, of course, Trainer Chris in that 4th position. And a big part of making all that happen is, of course, these fantastic coaching staffs, coaches, managers, analysts, all helping their squads get prepared and practiced and ready for these big-time matchups. And today, Eric for Cloud9 has played such a huge role getting his squad to this point. Just a couple more hurdles left for them to make it to Tokyo. Let's hear what he has to say, standing by with Christy St. John.
Thanks, guys. So, Eric, ever since CRL began, the community has been a huge part of it. And this week, there's been a lot of discussion between Cloud9 and compLexity about celebration and what's respectful. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, clearly we have different views, which is okay. I mean, not everyone has to agree with everything. They like to be a little loud. We like to be calm. It is what it is. We're friends outside of the arena, so it's just different ways of viewing it.
Well, getting back to today's match, it's got a huge effect on your place in the standings. Tell me, how is Cloud9 handling the pressure?
I've said it a bunch of times. I think we thrive under pressure. Last match didn't go our way, but it's in the past, and we prepared for this one. They're a great team, and we're just going to play our game.
Talking about preparation, are you feeling like you're going more for comfort decks right now, or are you specifically looking to beat CLG?
We always do stuff that benefits us, deck-wise, ban-wise, everything. So, we're going to play our game, like I said. CLG is great, and hopefully we can pull through.
And we'll see. All right, thanks so much for talking to me. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Christy. Of course, a lot riding on this for Cloud9, a shot to leapfrog over the 1st round, maybe even 2nd in front of their way. CLG playing to be the spoiler at this point with their playoff hopes already eliminated. To see how they prepare, let's take a look inside the war rooms.
All right, is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Geo, Skills, you know you're still undefeated in 2v2, right? Backstab, you play way better on stage than you do in practice, so just do your thing, okay?
Oh, okay.
Remember, you're not free to play. You guys are here. You're paid to win, all right? CLG on 3. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. CLG!
This is what our season comes down to, my friends.
Scooch.
We win this, we clinch playoffs. It's that simple. We're prepared, have fun. You guys made decks for 2v2 that you're actually going to enjoy playing. So just go out there, play your game like always.
What do you get when you drop a clone spell on an entire 1v1 match? Well, double everything. And this, my friends, is how 2v2 was born. Geo and Skills, C McHugh and Wings. Let's clone this thing with a 2v2 throwdown.
Wait, King, my parents told me it was 2 storks who brought the 2v2 down, so I'm all confused. But nothing confusing here. It is 2v2. Geo and Skills facing off against C McHugh and Wings.
Absolutely. Geo and Skills coming out for CLG. Geo is 4-3 overall in 2v2 sets. Same with Skills. C McHugh, on the other hand, for C9, moving into the set after spending some time in 1v1. He's 1-4 in 2v2 sets. Wings, on the other hand, 3-5. And both of these two teams have split their last 6 matches. 3 up, 3 down.
And up for this 2v2 set, our card bans, and both squads choosing to go with Tornado.
Yeah, this isn't the first time this happened. It's probably not the last that it'll happen here at CRL. A great ban, no miners getting to tower now, and that Lava Hound Balloon combination just that much more threatening, Rich.
So Cloud9 making that push to the number 2, hopefully number 1 spot. CLG looking to get in their way. For sure. Cloud9, C, McHugh, and Wings at the top of your screen. At the bottom, it's Counter Logic Gaming, Skills, and Geo.
And look what we see there in the very, very top left, Rich. A card that has shown up a lot here in Week 8.
Now, this is fascinating because this deck showing shades of what we saw from TSM very recently. So I guess there is one basic question. Is Cloud9 running heal?
Is the heal going to show up or not? We will see. But what we do know is this deck thrives on counter push potential. And Rich, you and I both thought that deck from TSM was constructed by OP Sam based off of the 1v1 deck that he'd run. But apparently it was actually Vulcan who constructed it, and Sam had made some minor tweaks.
I feel like if you gave OP Sam and Vulcan a set of Legos, they would build an entirely new universe. But neither of them are here right now. Instead, it's Cloud9, C, McHugh, and Wings going with what appears to be a double 3M deck. We are super excited. And again, you know, some people complain or aren't fans of the Golem, Lava meta. Well, here you go. Some of the best in the world saying we're going to show you something different.
Absolutely, and we've seen this deck be pretty effective. Now, obviously, it did have the heal in it before, but right now, that Baby Dragon is about to get on tower raged up.
That was an exceptionally nice Ice Spirit, Andrew.
Yeah, catching it just in time. The bat's coming down to distract, and we've got 2, 3 very, very healthy towers, and one just touched a little bit.
So 3 Musketeers. I don't know if we've seen much throughout the entire season in 2v2. Now making some sudden appearances here in Week 8.
Well, there's so many spells that are always in play. You'd think that the 3 Musketeers would get spelled out very quickly. However, so many other troops that demand spells like the Magic Archer, like the Flying Machine, like the Royal Hogs, maybe gives them just a little bit more legs.
So we are in the final minute of regulation, so it is double elixir time, and so far, although they've had some damage in the right-hand lane, Cloud9 acquitting themselves very well here with this off-meta double Royal Hog, double 3 Musketeers, Barbarian Hut deck.
Yeah, very, very interesting. It is still a bit of a surprise to me when we have the Tornado banned and you play Lava Hound and neither of the players has either a miner or a balloon. I mean, excuse me, either player doesn't have a balloon. The miner makes sense to tank the lava pups, but I just always think if you've got a NATO out of play, the balloon just becomes a little bit more effective, and it wouldn't hurt to have it be one of those 16 cards.
That Musketeer that's about to die into the poison doesn't die. That Musketeer has been one shot for so long and has done so much work for Cloud9.
And continues to get at least one more shot in on that Baby Dragon. The Musketeer with the most heart. That Baby Dragon Belch plus the poison is still getting in on that tower, down to 807 health, and now C9 has got to feel like they've got to make a big move here on the left. There's no way that stopped. Yeah, that is it.
That is a huge move. So there the Royal Hogs will get on tower. A spell needed maybe, and there we go. Poison comes down, and Cloud9 does it. Bye-bye Lava Hound. Hello 3 Musketeers, Royal Hogs, Barb Hut.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about this deck, and that's the other thing with the deck that we saw run earlier today is that these cards all of them building up through the entirety of the 6 minutes of the match. The Elixir ticks faster and faster and faster. You saw this push on the left-hand lane. And now you see the Lava Hound here coming in on the replay for CLG, getting some good damage in. Pups are tanked for very, very standard 2v2 play. However, you get down here to the end of the game, bottom left, we've got 2 Musketeers, 3 guards, couple of Royal Hogs, 2 more Royal Hogs, and now Rascals behind. That is an obscene amount of Elixir to deal with. That plus the spells, that is going to be all she wrote in Game 1 for CLG.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and give a GG's to analyst Adam for Cloud9 because I have a bet he had a bit of a hand in the pot building that one together. So well done to the whole Cloud9 staff on putting that deck together, giving us some nice entertainment here. Let's go into game number 2. So last time out, it was Counter Logic Gaming with the Turkeration pulling a Lava Witch Skelly Barrel clone deck to pop on Cloud9 to close things out. This time, it is the boys in blue way up high in the sky doing a little different dance.
Yep, and it looks like they're going to stick with a bit of the same that we saw in game number 1. And from CLG, to kind of continue my thought from earlier, I was surprised to not see a balloon or even a clone in that deck. We've seen how effective it is with that miner being in hand when that Lava Hound pops. If it's cloned with the Skeleton Barrel, it just becomes so much to deal with while the miner is tanking. And now we're going, it looks like both teams kind of running the same thing back again.
Well, encountering a deck like this has to be challenging, Andrew, because you probably don't have something prepared for it specifically, unless they were keeping an eye on what happened with TSM. But running this Royal Hog 3 Musketeer deck in 2v2, what squad was making up a deck to respond to? Yeah,
that's a very good point. Also surprised to see the Tombstone being used here more. We've seen the cannon kind of take the place of Tombstone in 2v2 because of just a little bit of the health benefit it has over the Tombstone and the same elixir cost.
And 3 Musketeers again being played in the middle, and that snowball not picking them up. So you have 3 Musketeers all in one-shot range, but still needing to be dealt with, costing more elixir, or if you don't take care of it, taking out troops of your own.
Yeah, and that snowball, it'd be interesting to see exactly what CLG was going for there, because those Musketeers were definitely in range of the tower and another unit to hit, but it looked like they wanted to go for something else there.
Well, you think about it, if you fireball giant snowball, that's 6 for 3. That's still a fairly good trade.
100%, and you're getting a little bit of tower damage, and you're hitting other units.
6 for 9, excuse me, for a positive trade of 3.
Miner not coming in to tank for those guys, seeing that poison come down, definitely the better decision.
You know, interesting, Andrew, and I'm curious about your thoughts on this. Normally you see, especially early on in the game, 3 Musketeers being played primarily behind the King Tower to split. We've seen 3 Musketeers played aggressively up front multiple times, not just in the middle, but we saw that there on the right-hand side. What are your thoughts on that in this situation?
You know, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it's because they both have it in hand, so they think it's a quick defensive response. 9 elixir is very expensive, but them being right up and in the action right away makes the value maybe higher in their minds. Also, not having the tornado in play means that you can play them where you'd like without them all going to one lane. But still not going to be doing what they want here. CLG getting a lot of damage in on that right-hand tower with the Musketeer behind it.
There on the bottom left, Andrew, we saw that Fireball-Snowball combination, but it didn't pick up the final Musketeer, so that's why you see so much damage on the left-hand lane. We are now in sudden death overtime, and that's a lot coming down the right-hand side, but plenty of Musketeers to deal with it. It looks like Cloud9's going for a tower race instead, though.
Yeah, this is a big moment here. A lot of damage on that top tower, and CLG does have it as long as they can get, exactly, I was going to say the snowball in, but that one more little lava pup, I'll say spit, since the mama belches.
So there you have it, CLG tying things up in our 2v2 set, holding strong this time against that final push in the left-hand lane.
You see here the 2 Lava Hounds coming down, so many units on the board. Absolutely insane to deal with. It becomes kind of a tower race situation a couple times here. Great defense in from CLG with the Fireball and the Snowball. This is where you're talking about, Rich, missing that last Musketeer, getting a bit more damage down on that tower than they would have liked. And then here you are once again, those Fire Spirits doing such an incredible job against the Royal Hogs. That paired with the log, cleaning it all up, CLG coming out on top.
So there we have it, going to a third and final game in our 2v2 set. Cloud9 showing some creativity, some big-time plays, but CLG a little more traditional this time around. It pays off. So what happens in game number 3? Do we go new or do we go old?
Let's go, boys.
A little questioning Hog Rider there from Cloud9, and dabbing it out is CLG.
And CLG looking like they're going with the same thing again. Cloud9, however, looking like they're going to take it to the skies.
So Cloud9 goes up high, a little different here for game number 3. In their first meeting, CLG did run a Lava Hound deck in all 3 games. They ran that double Lava, double Miner, but then they did do the Lava Witch Skelly Barrel clone deck as a little trickeration, as I mentioned earlier. This one coming out a little bit more traditional.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they've kind of run essentially almost the exact same deck 3 times in a row. You can definitely say it's been the same archetype, the idea, Lava Hound, Miner, and Spells. But they must feel that that's the deck that is their best chance against Cloud9.
Were they running Lumberjack and double Baby Dragon last time?
I've seen a lot of Baby Dragons from them, I believe so. I don't know about the Lumberjack, but definitely the double Baby Drags. Miner coming in just in time, guards coming in also on time to stop a lot of damage coming through to that tower. Fireball is going to clean both of those units up.
You know, one thing I've noticed, Andrew, about 2v2 is it seems that the squads have had a kind of surprising amount of difficulty. And this is across all of CRL, by the way, not just in this game. Almost more difficulty picking up miners in 2v2 than they have had in 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to navigate through, right? There's just so many more cards in play. It's harder to remember where that last miner dropped down, especially when 2 of them are coming at a time to your tower. Harder to predict. Also, with Electro Wizard not being in quite as much, you can't retarget it. Ice Spirit's not showing up as much either.
And of course, Tornado Ban means that miner can go wherever he wants.
Exactly.
Although, don't forget that Snowball or Fireball could activate an inside played miner onto the King Tower.
Pretty even game so far, with about a minute left of regulation.
Very even so far, Andrew. Only 68 HP separating the squads.
That Lightning is a great defender against that Inferno Dragon. Surprised another unit didn't come down, or another spell didn't come down to clean up that Inferno Dragon. You already did so much damage to it. You leave it alive that long, it takes out your Inferno, or your Lava Hound. Not what they would like to have happened there is Cloud9.
So again, this time the guards do pick up that miner, and that might be the most important pickup of the game because Cloud9's right-hand tower down to 272, now 223.
Yeah, and those bats coming through for Cloud9 doing just enough damage. However, that Lumberjack coupled with the Miner, the Fireball, that is going to do it. CLG is going to take game number 2 and the 2v2 set. Wow.
There we go, man. Skills and Geo showing it off.
Yeah, making it so much harder, or that much harder, for Cloud9 to get to that spot they want in the playoffs. You want that first round bye. And I really, truly believe they should have taken out that Inferno Dragon there, Rich. You see it's got a tick of health left here on the screen. The Mega Minion maybe was coming down, but the problem is that there's these Skellies here distracting it. The other Mega Minion comes down. All of a sudden, an Inferno Dragon that was in a shot's range of death for about 20 seconds there has taken out your Lava Hound in your final push. On the other side of it, CLG stays alive, then pops. Now they take the tower.
Well, that's the story of this 2v2 set overall, though, isn't it, Andrew? The one-shot heroes, cards being on the board, hanging on to their last bit of HP, doing more than you think they would.
Yeah, you talk about getting utility with cards in games. In 1v1, that utility is obviously still there, but it's compiled. You know, it gets exponentially more damaging here in 2v2 if that card stays alive for that long. And right now we saw how that affected C9.
So CLG coming out with the win in the first set, but as we go into 1v1, this, of course, is where Cloud9 has shined all season, switching CMQ, Wings, but today it's Baron facing off against Backstab X.
Behold, Backstab X and Baron, bravely battling boldly and brusquely with barbarian barrels in the barbarian bowl. Honestly, I don't know if they'll use the barrels or play in that arena. I just needed words with a B. Whatever. 1v1 now!
I believe this will be a bombastic fight between these two guys.
There you go. Backstab X. There's my 1B that you guys get from me. Coming out for CLG, he's 1-1 in that 1v1 set, 4-3 in King of the Hill. And as Rich just said, Cloud9 switching it up, but Baron has been proven to be their specialist in the 1v1 set. 5-1 overall in 1v1 sets, 10-3 in games, and 12-5 in head-to-head play.
And let's look at the card bans active for all potential 3 games here in 1v1. Electro Wizard banned by Backstab X, and why not? Good idea, Baron taking Graveyard out of the hands of the Graveyard Master.
Well, I guess he will not be playing Graveyard to answer my question that I asked you a second ago, so I guess we'll have to see what they're going to bring here in 1v1.
Baron, Backstab, 1v1, let's go.
You know, Rich, the card that you and I talked about not being that relevant after the first couple weeks here at CRL, Backstab breathing life back into it, so much so that Cloud9 just wants to take it completely off the table.
Well, when you see the run that Backstab's gone with that deck, you understand why, because even if you know he's playing it, it seems like he's unbeatable with it.
Yes, absolutely. He really mastered that Baby Dragon NATO combination to the tower there to compile the damage, to take out all the little squishy support units, and Backstab acknowledging a well played. That bowler is useless.
That's going to be a frustrating card to be in the hand here for Backstab, banning the Electro Wizard. I'm wondering specifically what the reasoning is. You know, I'm looking at Baron's deck pool, and while there are some spam decks, it doesn't seem like Electro Wizard has been the key factor in many of them.
Yeah, it's kind of been a filler card in a lot of his, like, I think Mega Knight Minor decks. I believe it was in his P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam deck. But yeah, it's one of those cards that it's popped up a couple times in bans. Very interesting ban.
The E-Wiz has a 25% usage across our 1v1 sets with a 54% win rate.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam deck that popped up a lot in weeks 3 through 5, I believe had an Electro Wizard in it. It was so effective. There were different variations of it as well, sorry.
Sure, no, I'm wondering if there's something having to do with Backstab running this Royal Giant deck, not wanting such an easy retarget, although typically the building comes down before the Royal Giant gets dropped, not the other way around.
Yeah, I think it could be, I mean, the Royal Giant does, excuse me, the Electro Wizard does such a great job countering the Royal Giant just because that stun now with the decreased health of the Giant makes it much more, it makes it much less effective, much more killable. Maybe that's what Backstab was going for, but it still seems like a bit of a stretch. And that balloon gets one drop in, wow.
And it looked like Backstab was trying to NATO the balloon back into range of his Ice Wizard, but the Ice Wizard, distracted elsewhere, does not pick up the balloon, so now we get a huge drop on that right-hand tower with just double elixir time remaining.
And he had to spend a Tornado and a Fireball, putting him at a slight deficit, and now, again, having to deal with an incoming push from Baron.
So let me correct what I said earlier. It's not that the building gets dropped before the Royal Giant. It's before the Royal Giant gets to the river that you drop that building.
Yes.
Cheeky zap.
Yes, exactly. I love that. Cheeky zap is exactly what it was. And nothing to reset the zap is Backstab. Now, he did have a great NATO here to send those units to the other lane, but it's not going to be enough, in my mind, to take out that right-hand tower.
Was the right idea with the Tornado, though, getting the Inferno Dragon off of his Royal Giant. And with 7 seconds left, another bowler shot. If these Baby Dragons can change their target, he could get back in it in just enough time. And there we go!
Oh my gosh, that was insane.
Unbelievable play there by Backstab X to extend the action in just the final second possible. We are now moving on into sudden death overtime.
And now the bowler coming back down into that Lava Hound and Mega Minion push.
And here we go. Now it's the Ice Wiz picking up that balloon. No missing here. And a perfect Tornado pulls it back. So the splash damage finally doing its job for Backstab X. You know, even though he's behind a little bit on that left-hand side, you feel like the momentum has gone his direction.
And he misses the Fireball, but somehow, wow, that Lava Hound popped just in time for the tower to retarget on that balloon. Another missed Fireball from Backstab, and that is going to cost him the game.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy. Backstab X fought back into this thing with brilliant play, getting that tower down with as little time as you possibly can have.
Yeah.
And just when he's right back in it, another missed fireball ends up scuttling the entire effort.
Yeah, those missed spells can be so brutal, costing so much elixir, essentially. And then this, I believe, yeah, so we see this bowler coming down the lane. The balloon gets NATO'd back, not getting a lot of damage on it. The Baby Dragon splash damage isn't hitting it as much as he'd like, and that balloon getting just one drop in felt like the end for Backstab here. But somehow, we flash forward here to the end of regulation, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, the bowler bowl goes in, the ball is down, and it's not there. What's happening? 1 second, Baby Dragon goes in, ties this thing up, but right here, that missed fireball, that is a compiling error that now he has nothing to deal with this Lava Hound on the tower. Not a lot of damage from the Lava Hound, but just enough.
So 2 big spell plays put Backstab in a hole. That Tornado not quite gathered together as much as he wanted for the Ice Wizard, the missed fireball. But still, what a valiant effort, making that one much closer than it could have been in those moments. So now we move on to game number 2. Backstab looking for some other trick up his sleeve to win this thing.
Absolutely. He's only got a bit of time to do it. What's going to happen in game 2?
Game number 2, Baron given the thumbs up and the whistle whistle, knowing it was nice and close. Backstab has something planned, though. I think the plan is to wait until a minute 5 to play. That's what it looks like right now.
And a Mega Minion coming out. 2 very cheap cycle cards. However, that buff to the Mega Minion makes it so you have to respond now, whereas before, you used to kind of just be able to ignore a Mega Minion coming down the map because it would just get 1 hit.
So Backstab showing shades of the same deck one more time. Even without having, and there you go, looks at the exact same deck again. Even without having his favorite graveyard, it seems as though the Ice Wiz NATO combination is something he feels very comfortable with.
Yeah, and the Baby Dragon. He loves that splash damage, Rich. He loves how effective it is to take out all the troops around. The problem is that Baron doesn't really have a lot of weak, squishy troops to kind of tornado together and take down.
I think the big question of this deck is the bowler being back here once again. You know, maybe he didn't believe that Baron would run back a high-flying deck for the second time. You know, you think that maybe an Executioner might fit better in this specific matchup, but then again, you'll be leaving yourself with so little to work with on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you don't ever... it's so hard to game what your opponent's going to run again. You think, oh, them running the same deck again would be crazy, but them switching it after success would be crazy, you know? And now we see, once again, Baron having a great amount of success with that Lava Hound deck. Not in the lead, but still at a very, very close position, striking position, and that balloon is behind his picture, creeping down the map.
And the annoying thing about knowing you're against a balloon deck, Andrew, is as you see Backstab eating so much damage on his tower, because he knows that the cards that could respond to that damage from those lava pups are necessary for his defense against this balloon.
Yes, and that's why he's going in right here. He's going to kind of defend, but it's really more about stopping the 3 crown and augmenting your left-hand lane push and defense for that tower trade. But he's going to need to throw down a little bit more here to help.
Yeah, the bowler not going to do a whole lot right there, so a lot getting onto his king tower.
That Inferno Dragon is getting so much value. There we go. Really kind of been the MVP for Baron in this 1v1 set, just because Backstab doesn't have a great way of resetting it. You did see him use the NATO in the first game to kind of pull it out of range. However, it's not doing enough damage. It's not taking it out of play. It just kind of disappears for a second, then comes back.
And that's some fantastic NATO play here for the CLG 1v1 specialist. So we are going to go into sudden death overtime, and it is Backstab mounting his push. That Royal Giant should get a couple of shots on the tower, especially with that reset. Both players slowing down here in a moment, trying to plan how this next sequence will go. The order in which you play so critical at this juncture, Andrew.
You wonder if that Royal Giant's going to be dropped in the pocket at all here, knowing that there's only a couple of ground responses in the hands of Baron. And And these compiling pushes at the river haven't really been doing him a lot of favors, honestly. I mean, he did really well in the beginning, but it was in a tower trade situation. He can't trade towers again right now.
Not missing that fireball, so Backstab X picking up that push fairly well. You know, it looked like he might have been going a little hard in the paint, but he knew he had the responses, and that's what's nice about how inexpensive those cards are. The Ice Wiz, the Baby Dragon, the Tornado. Really not as big of commitments as you would think for what they accomplished defensively.
And I was going to say, I felt like that Tombstone might be a little close. If you put it a little farther to the right, it might have pulled towards the King Tower here at least. And the Balloon, again, also could have been pulled towards the King Tower, having to spend so much elixir. That Baby Dragon is locked on, and that is a, that is a quick set. CLG falling here in the 1v1 set after taking the 2v2, and we are on our way to King of the Hill, Rich.
That Inferno Dragon not getting picked up, and you have to think that maybe Backstab was distracted by the challenges of the Balloon in the middle, that the Tornado didn't retarget the way he might have wanted.
Yeah, again, we talk about having to pick your poisons here. Maybe it would have been better to pull the Tornado and the Inferno Dragon towards the center of the map. You know, hindsight is 2020. Inferno Dragon is on tower so much for Backstab to deal with there. Great set by Baron, now moving his 1v1 set record to 6-1.
And you could see the good game coming out from Backstab the moment he realized that fireball on the Balloon left that Inferno Dragon completely uncontested. Yeah. So there you go. Set number 1, 2v2, CLG. Set number 2, 1v1, going to Cloud9. So here we are, set number 3, King of the Hill. Each squad, 3 players, each player, 1 life, 1 shot, 1 opportunity. Who will come out on top? Let's go inside the war rooms as they plan their card bans and their lineups.
All right, guys. Stop teasing them, all right? Let's just finish this.
Yep. Yeah.
So for King of the Hill, I'm going to throw you right back in there, Backstab.
All right.
All right.
Carry, redeem myself. Let's go.
2, Geo.
Yep.
I'm going to put that TM right up there, so
Oh, thank you. You know
you better win, okay? 3, Skills. All right, you're going to clean up for us if we need it, but I don't think we do, so let's finish this, okay? CLG on 3, really loud, okay? 1, 2, 3, CLG!
All right, King of the Hill, CMC, Wings, Baron. This is our game. Played it, I think, more than anyone in CRL. Let's go and do ours. That's it. 1v1s, man. We win our 1v1s, we clinch playoffs, we can go have a nice night. Let's go kill it.
Cloud9 can still claim the #1 seed, but only if they win here today. Quite frankly, CLG doesn't care about that. They're here to ruin everything. Everyone, pack your bags, buckle up, and let's head for the hill. King of the Hill.
The third and final set of this very closely contested match between Cloud9 and Counter Logic Gaming.
Absolutely. For CLG, coming out is Backstab, hopping right back into it, looking to bounce back from that 1v1 set. Following up is Geo and Skills to close it out if necessary for Cloud9. C. McHugh leading off, Wings in that middle spot, and Baron taking a break after that dominant 1v1 set.
And the ban cards active for all potential 5 games here in our King of the Hill set. It's going to be Lava Hound and surprise, surprise, Graveyard once again for Cloud9.
I mean, maybe it was just as simple as it looks about that 1v1 set. Backstab, I don't want you playing Graveyard. Baron, I don't want you playing Lava Hound. Let's go to King of the Hill.
3 up, 3 chances. First of 3 wins takes the set, a very important one for Cloud9 here. Cloud9 C McHugh, top of your screen. CLG will be at the bottom for all these potential 5 games, and a little grrr princess and a happy hog.
The angry princess she's terrifying.
Well, she can shoot you from so far away, Andrew.
Backstab must have heard me. A bit of a BM battle here to start off. There's a reason why it's important to set your emote decks, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, so far we have not seen the patented Coochie Coo emote.
But I will say at this point, it does appear that C McHugh's in a commanding lead.
I don't know, Andrew. So far, the Royal Hogs have been more meta as of late than the Hog Rider.
So the log cycle coming in late from both teams here. All right, you got one, I got one, no problem. Sitting back at 10. Probably going to be some sort of beatdown. You got to think beatdown is the only reason you'd want to wait till you get to double elixir. You know, having a quick cycle deck and wasting all this regulation time is usually not the way to go.
And that's an important note for some of you players who aren't as experienced in some of the high-level aspects of the game who are watching along here. If you have a fast cycle deck, as Andrew mentioned, you don't want to be playing purely in double elixir time, but if you're playing a big beatdown deck, waiting until here, if your opponent will let you do it, go ahead.
Take your time, enjoy it, sit back, Golem and Lava Hound up with 5 seconds until you get to that the double elixir time, and you're usually in a very, very great position.
And it's going to be, as Andrew said, that 5-second barrier beforehand.
The idea there is that you can regain whatever elixir you've just spent. Getting into the double elixir time, you're basically at 100% going right in with a very large card on the field. Interesting first cards to be dropped from CMQ here, though, in the amount of time he took. I mean, maybe we're going to see Royal Giant from both of them. Maybe CMQ is going to go with a P.E.K.K.A. bridge spam iteration.
And look, I am happy to see Bowler all day, every day. These decks do not make a ton of sense for being a Who Blinks first battle.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I bet it's actually going to be Royal Hogs, and there they were coming in. So now, yeah, interesting that Backstab decided to opt out, or both of them opted out to wait this long. CMQ meeting that Royal Giant with a P.E.K.K.A., not what Backstab wanted to see.
Well, neither one is playing a particularly light or a particularly heavy deck. They're both playing kind of mid-range decks. You know, some stuff on the lower end, some stuff on the middle end. So you're kind of wondering, what did they put their opponents on that made them want to stay and wait that long?
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been their starting hands required too much of a commitment, or maybe it was just that they wanted to see if their opponent was going to make a mistake. A great King Tower activation here from Backstab, getting a couple Royal Giant shots in on that right side tower.
So in this case, the Bowler is slightly more effective than in the previous matchups for Backstab X. And this is where the Bowler would be nice to have, is in response to a Royal Hog push right down a single lane.
Yes, exactly. And ideally, that's what Backstab is going to start to try to hold his Bowler for, but you do know that he wants to support his Royal Giant with it, and CMQ kind of giving that questionable Hog Rider with that NATO there. I understand he was trying to keep his Royal Giant alive a bit longer, but that also preserved the health of now a very, very healthy P.E.K.K.A. walking down the lane. And now his Bowler is not in the position to take out those Royal Hogs, and this is just a ton of units in the center of the map. That's going to be a tower down on the left-hand side.
And there we go, the first game in the books of King of the Hill, CMQ, doing his job, sending Backstab back to the war room.
I mean, here it is. It's probably the idea here for CMQ is the fact that he's got the P.E.K.K.A. in hand, so if he is playing against a beatdown deck, it is going to be on the ground. Lava Hound isn't in play, so he can just kind of wait and hang out. Even if his opponent does Golem up or Royal Giant or Bowler up, he's got this great response, or even Goblin Giant. You know, who knows how crazy we'll get. That P.E.K.K.A. is such a brilliant response. He knows he can just play that and then send Royal Hogs down the opposite lane.
That was kind of a desperation tornado, it felt like there, Andrew. Nothing to pick up all the troops as they got pulled to the middle. So CMQ, as you said, playing it very well. And now he gets a second shot at King of the Hill up against the Italian Gio. Game number 2, and these two squads did go to King of the Hill last time, and Gio and CMQ faced off in the first game of that King of the Hill batch. CMQ running minor P.E.K.K.A. Poison against the Graveyard, Ice Wiz, NATO, Baby Dragon combination of Gio. And it was a win for CMC, who kept Gio from getting Graveyards down consistently.
I wonder if we're going to see a Mortar here from CMQ, or it could be that Princess Hog Rider mini P.E.K.K.A. I saw the bats in the Goblin Gang, I got excited.
Sorry, no, that was game 1 of Gio and CMQ facing off in 1v1 last time, and that was when they did not go to King of the Hill. I misread my notes. It was a 4-game 1v1 set, which made it look like King of the Hill.
Gotcha. Royal Hogs coming down. Royal Ghost to meet him there. Not much damage coming through on Geo's towers.
So taking it nice and easy, the first minute 15 out of the way, and CMQ damage on both towers. So far, even with the Royal Hogs, Geo choosing to go single lane.
Yeah, and he's going to take a lot of damage off that right-hand tower of CMQ. CMQ might have the Three Musketeers as that last card in his hand, having the Ice Golem as well as the Mini P.E.K.K.A and Goblin Gang supports that idea.
The Bats making short work of that Magic Archer at the river, so as we get closer to double elixir time, it is Geo with a slight lead. If the Three Musketeers are happening, they should be coming out very soon for the Cloud9 representative CMQ.
And Geo honestly could have it as well. I'm very curious to see what his 9th card is. Probably a spell, though, realistically. Probably a Fireball. Holding on to it for the idea of that last card in CMQ's hand being those Three Musketeers, Fireball or Poison.
And there we go, it's a poison.
And this is a great defense here. You get the Tombstone down, the Magic Archer cleaning up the Hogs with the Royal Ghost there, and that is what Geo wants to replicate every single time a Royal Hogs push comes in. And now it's CMQ's turn to see how he defends this split. That was a great Fireball on the right-hand side of your screen.
And now CMQ bringing a lot down the lane, but getting pulled back to the middle. This one defended fairly well as well.
Yeah, these guys both playing very, very good defense. However, that tower on the right-hand side, that one push of the 4 Hogs with the Magic Archer behind did such a great amount of damage for Geo.
So the Poison doing some damage on the Royal Hog push and the Magic Archer in the back. We are now in sudden death overtime, and with some troops on the board, Geo now making his push the opposite direction. Yeah, and I'm wondering if CMQ really wishes he had a Tombstone in his hand right now just to pull those Hogs to the center. It seems like that's going to be the biggest difference maker in this game. Wow, and that Royal Ghost, even though it got the hit in, the Mini P.E.K.K.A still swings on the tower. That is a big-time moment here, Andrew, as every hit point matters. We are in a lowest tower situation, being King of the Hill, and right now the single lowest tower is on the right-hand side of CMQ's board at 822. Yeah, and with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left there, Geo is comfortable in poisoning the weaker, or the healthier tower of CMQ. Couple Spear Goblins thrown in there. This is not what Geo wants. He does not want to let CMQ just keep chipping away and catching up. So, talking about the lowest tower situation, last time, as I mentioned, Andrew, in their 1v1 set, CMQ and Geo went to 4 games. Now, a 4th game in 1v1 is always lowest tower, and in that situation, it was Geo running Giant Miner Poison, but he had 3 spells, Poison, Zap, and Log, while CMQ was running a Graveyard Iwiz NATO Poison, and CMQ only had 2 spells in the Poison and Zap, and in the very end, in the last few seconds, it was the triple spell of Geo able to take the lead. And the reason why I bring that up in this case, Andrew, is Geo only has the Poison, a single
I don't think it's going to matter, Rich. That tower's going down in the top hand right. That was a great Magic Archer coupled with those Royal Hogs coming in. Geo steals this one from CMQ. Great plays throughout. It looked like it was slipping away in the middle of the game there, Rich, but somehow that last push comes through.
You know, I was setting up that conversation about spells brilliantly.
I really didn't want to cut you off, but it just with this last push coming through, you see Geo kind of recognizing all the counters in hand for CMQ. They're all kind of off the board here. You see that very healthy Royal Ghost just hiding in there. Hogs come in, Royal Ghost down on the tower, and CMQ knows he just misplayed his defense by a little bit.
I was going to say that Geo only had 1 spell, the 8-second Poison versus the Fireball Zap, quick combination of CMQ, but it doesn't matter. The Italian comes on top, evening up this King of the Hill set, and up comes Wings to represent for C9. King of the Hill game number 3, Wings, the New Jersey native stepping in.
And the aggressive bandit at the river, I like it. And with an immediate cannon response, I mean, are we going to see 2.6 here? We haven't seen cannon in a lot of other decks in 1v1.
Well, still showing shades of that very popular deck.
That should be a Goblin Giant.
I'm hoping and praying Goblin Giant here, Andrew, although it's not looking like it.
No, it is definitely looking like Hog Rider 2.6 on the top of your screen. Bottom of your screen could be like P.E.K.K.A Minor Poison, maybe Mega Knight, just because of the Royal Hogs.
So, Andrew, we've talked about 2.6 a lot here in various contexts at CRL. One thing we've mentioned is that it's a very high-skill deck. What is it about 2.6 that makes it so challenging to play despite seeming so accessible?
Well, you look at the deck itself and you kind of look at all these cards and you're like, well, I've got one building to defend, I've got a Hog Rider to attack, and a Musketeer to... how do I get damage in on the tower? And really what it is it's only your Hog Rider. All you're going for is your Hog Rider and maybe sometimes coupled with a Fireball to take out a building. But what's so beautiful about this deck is you have so many cheap cards that you can use to kite units around, recycle back through so quickly, get your Hog Rider back down. You can play a Hog Rider twice before your opponent's even played 3 cards, Rich. It's just a very masterful deck. So many great things about it.
So 20 seconds away from double elixir time, and both players have taken some damage here, although Wings a little better pressure if you come to the left-hand side.
And see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, is a 1 elixir card in the Skeletons being a perfect counter for that 3 elixir card in the Royal Ghost. And now you've got a Musketeer that demands a response. So you send a Hog Rider down the opposite lane. You've got a 4 elixir lead on your opponent. So it's this type of stuff where even your opponent knows you're playing Hog Rider 2.6 when you played your first 3 cards. They know everything that you're going to send them. They've played the deck 100 times, but that doesn't mean they can stop it.
And there you are, Andrew. Great example of the left-hand side. That Bandit has now faced 2 Hog Riders in the same life.
Yeah, exactly. The cycle here is so incredible. You can get through your entire deck with 7 elixir. 6, excuse me.
And the P.E.K.K.A finally making an appearance, so a great and a little bit high there. A great response to the Hog Rider played just a little out of position.
Yeah, great observation there, being a little bit high. 1 tile lower and to the right, ran into the Hog Rider, probably gotten a couple swings in. Sometimes can even mitigate 100% of the damage. Wow, and that is an excellent Hog Rider being played right into... Oh, I was going to say, if that got a hit, that was amazing, because it was very aggressive, very dangerous, high risk, high reward play, and he's actually going to pay for it now. It looked like it was going to sneak by there, Rich.
It really did, Andrew. We are at 494, and that P.E.K.K.A coming out early just to get something in the lane, make it so the Hog Rider does not come down very quickly, although now with the P.E.K.K.A out of cycle, that Hog Rider could be coming at some point trying to sneak by, although the Extra Wizard does make it much more difficult.
Yeah, you just see, Geo here stockpiling units in that left-hand lane, doing everything he can to stop any damage coming through.
And that Miner sneaking onto the inside will get a couple of swings, so that should be it.
Yep.
You see Wings knows it's over. Geo taking out one of the best here in CRL, and Wings staying at the podium for at least one more game.
Yeah, really playing very, very well. Was Wings, however, Geo just outplayed him a bit. Again, you know exactly what your opponent's going to bring to you every single time, and this was kind of the moment right here where it seemed like it would either go in one or the other's favor, and that Hog Rider not getting the hit in was just enough to give Geo the edge through the rest of the match, to where Wings was kind of playing on his heels throughout, when you really don't want to be doing that with the 2.6 deck. And you see again here that backwards Bandit, or that Bandit dashing backwards and then forward again onto the cannon. I believe you were saying that Bandit had met 2 Hog Riders in its life, and then a Princess Tower and a victory.
So there we go, 2 down for Cloud9 and 1 remaining. Of course, that one is a very tough out for anyone in the world. 2 top 5 finishes at CCGS EU, a CCGS World finalist. Baron steps into the arena for Cloud9 to keep his hopes alive. Good luck from Baron. A little whistle whistle. The Hog Rider, despite being one of the most popular cards in all of Clash Royale, only a 7% usage rate here in head-to-head play for CRL, and only a 48% win rate, Andrew.
Yeah, and I think that's just because it's been replaced by its cousin, the Royal Hogs. In basically every instance that you'd see a Hog Rider, you've seen the Royal Hogs substitute into that spot. And I guess be more effective. It's got a higher win rate.
It does bring up a slight question, Andrew. Why hasn't there been much in the way of the 2.7 Hog Rider deck with the Royal Hogs replacing the Hog Rider itself?
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting point, Rich. I don't even know if I have an answer for that. It might just be the synergy of the deck. It's really about committing everything down one lane with the Hog Rider 2.6. The Ice Spirit, the Ice Golem are all there to support one lane, whereas the Royal Hogs really thrive and excel with dual lane pressure.
Well, it's the Hog Rider once more, and looking at this, Baron running what appears to be potentially that 0 win condition deck with the Magic Archer probably at some point mixed in with the Barbarian Hut, the Flying Machine. Geo does have some good answers with that Fireball, but the Hog Rider is going to have a tough time trying to get over across the river and to a tower, with that Barbarian Hut probably coming back down over and over and over again.
Yes, exactly. And also there is a Fireball in this deck usually for Baron as well. It's actually a very, very strong deck, and you see it right now for one of the reasons why is you've got this huge push coming in, Magic Archer behind, 2 healthy Barbarians in. That is a ton of damage down on that left-hand tower for Geo.
And you can see Geo in your bottom right-hand corner of the screen kind of stretch it out there in the moment.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of squirming around there, really not liking what is happening to his left-hand tower.
So we are in double elixir time, and not good news here for the CLG representative again, and that's what's going to happen, I think, for the rest of this next 50 seconds. That Hog Rider getting stopped before it gets anywhere near that tower.
And that Barbarian Hut has so much health. You look and you see those 2 Hog hits taking away about 1/3 of its HP, means about 6 Hog hits in. And if your opponent lets you hit anything with the Hog Rider 6 times, then he's probably AFK, or she.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a win for Baron, and this has been kind of a gutsy deck call. You know, it's one of those ones where you don't necessarily have a true way to the tower. You know, as we said, no true win condition. But if you can play perfect defense, it usually finds a window or a door you can step through. And with the Fireball, that will be it. Baron taking down Geo, sending us to the 5th and final game of King of the Hill.
And I was going to admire the fact that Baron didn't even use his Fireball till the very end there, and he didn't even have to play his 8th card. So again, this deck is so very powerful, providing so much defense, whether it's against the beatdown in a Golem or a Royal Giant or a Giant on the ground. That Barbarian Hut is such a menace. And then if it's in the air, you've got the Bats, the Magic Archer, the Flying Machine, the Fireball, all of these things doing so much. So now, of course, it's going to come down to this, Rich, right? Game number 5 here in King of the Hill, Skills versus Baron.
It's a big one, and again, the stakes for Cloud9, a shot at number 2. A loss here opens the door for their playoff contention. It all comes down to this. So many logos on the board, a lot of blue, but the story of the day is it has been pretty even up to this point.
Spear Gobs at the river. Come on, Mortar Bait.
If it's Mortar Bait, I swear he'll buy you an ice cream. A tough out here for Skills, who has amassed a head-to-head win rate of 6 wins, 10 losses, and 1 draw against Baron, who head-to-head is 12-5 with a single draw.
And the Sparky comes out for Skills at the bottom of the screen. The Sparky having an incredibly high win rate here at CRL. It is not one to no failure. And that Zap, what a great Zap. Very, very small, still gonna die to this Tombstone here, but taking out that Royal Ghost means I do not have to respond with more Elixir. I can start building another push. And of course a Goblin Giant Sparky deck is about to happen. Why wouldn't it?
This is going to be fascinating, Andrew. In Game 5 of King of the Hill, Goblin Giant Sparky. Now, there has been some chatter about Goblin Giant having a fairly high win rate in the Grand Challenge world. So
I'm trying to remember whose stream it was. It was a pro at CRL. It might have been Carter streaming the other day with a deck very similar to this, and I asked him a bunch of questions about it, and he was just saying that the Goblin Giant having those Spear Gobs providing just a little bit more utility, taking like bats out of play essentially, but still putting the Zap in his deck to protect his Sparky. Very interesting. And for Baron, yeah, it's going to be that Royal Hogs, probably 3 Musketeers Rascals deck.
What a fascinating exchange here. And there you go, Royal Ghost gone. So will Skills choose to defend this one? And there we go, behind the Goblin Giant.
Yep, and that Goblin Giant does have some legs on it. He moves. Wow, a big wasted tombstone there. That's going to take out the entire Rascal group, or of girls, excuse me, and that is a lot on the tower. That's going to be tower down.
And just trying to keep that Sparky off tower, he does, but it does not matter. Royal Ghost taking it down. The Sparky now, even though just a 1% win rate, or usage rate so far in CRL head-to-head, an 80% win rate, and looks like it's about to get even better.
And I'm pretty sure it's probably been used 5 times in 1-4, Rich. I believe that is exactly what that means right there. And yes, it's about to claim another victim. That Sparky in the hands of a noob, if you will, for lack of a better term. Not a very effective card. At the hands of a pro has been proven to be one of the most devastating. Now moving its win rate up to above 80%, and Cloud9 not clinching that spot that they wanted oh so badly, Rich.
That is such a big win for CLG. Look, they might be out of the playoffs, but this is a big takedown because not only did they keep Cloud9 out of that #2 spot, they have now put Cloud9 in danger, in range of Tribe, TSM, and compLexity.
And what's so interesting about that is that CLG, had they not lost the season sweeps to TSM and to Tribe, could actually be in a position to come into the playoffs with a bunch of crazy things happening. However, those 2 season sweeps means that their dreams are over for playoffs this year, but they can destroy others. C9 today walking away not very happy from this one.
What an unbelievable turn of events. You know, it looked like Cloud9 might have had 2v2 sewn up, and then they didn't. They took the 1v1, looked like now we're going to King of the Hill. How do you beat CMQ, Baron, and Wings? And here it is, you beat them one at a time.
With some very, very interesting deck choices. You see that great fireball coming in, the tombstone soaking up that Sparky shot, but those bats, coupled with the zap, nothing left for defense, and that is tower down for Baron.
And Zap has been so valuable for Sparky, both here and in the European region. Those of you who were watching earlier saw probably the most important 2 Elixir ever played by SK Gaming, taking out Team Liquid. And here we go, another fantastic Zap played with a Sparky, now taking down Cloud9, putting them in danger. And it all came down to the final game of King of the Hill, where Skills stood tall, brought out something new, played perfectly with it. So let's go to him with Chrissy St. John to find out more about this big win.
Thanks, guys. Big win and a big loss. How does it feel to play Dreamkiller?
It feels amazing to win, and honestly, I like those guys, but you know, can't lose for them. So.
For sure, and you took the last King of the Hill game and the 2v2, amazing job. Now tell me about that last deck, that Goblin Giant Sparky. I haven't seen that combination before.
Yeah, honestly, I just saw some guys using it yesterday. I was like, man, it looks really fun. I won 3 games with it. I was like, all right, I'm running it, why not?
Or you feel like you're in a position now where you're just gonna have fun for the rest of the season?
Yeah, that's how we always wanted it to be. We always wanted it to be fun, and now we're out. It kind of sucks, but now we can just have fun, so that's good.
I mean, that was fun. Great game, man. Thanks so much for talking to me. Back to you guys.
A lot of fun for CLG to be had. Again, pressure off, so why not take big swings? Yeah. And the big swings just had big results.
Yes, absolutely. We hop into the standings here and we take a look and see what has happened now. Counter Logic Gaming with the win in 6th place, 6 and 7. Cloud9 at 8 and 5, no longer in contention for those top 2 spots, and really has got a hope for Team Solo Mid and Tribe Gaming to leave the door open for them.
Yeah, this is going to be a big couple of days. We kind of felt like everything would be solidified today, and that's not the case. So we do have one more match coming up today, a big one as you look at those standings. It is compLexity facing off against Tribe Gaming.
Man, the late season drama just keeps on coming. Next up, 2 top 4 teams with a whole lot on the line. 2 heavyweights punching their way into the playoffs. compLexity Gaming against Tribe Gaming. Need I say more?
2 squads in black and red facing off in a very important moment. Adrian Piedra last time coming out in 1v1 against B-Rad, most recently playing the hero for his squad against Energy. B-Rad looking to repeat what he did last time against his foe, the Miner God, trying to make it happen one more time. Our second match of the day made even more interesting after the results of the CLG Cloud9 matchup. Here we have Tribe Gaming facing off against compLexity.
Absolutely. compLexity's roster today, no surprises here. We got Colton, Chachi, Razor, and Adrian Piedra. Their opponents, Tribe Gaming, J Monty, B-Rad, Oxlet, and King Joao today instead of Tommy.
Tommy not even in the lineup. Very interesting. We'll get into some of that stuff more later. Right now, though, Oxlet last time out in King of the Hill led off with a big win before the squad fell to the opening salvo of the King Killer Razor in the very first match of CRL North America. What does Oxlet have in store for his opponents today? Let's go to Christy St. John, who has a few questions for him.
Thanks, guys. Oxlet, your first match was against compLexity. Unfortunately, your first loss. But of course, so many things have changed since the beginning of the league. So tell me, what's the main thing you've learned since then?
Going in at the very beginning, we didn't really know exactly what to expect. But now that we've been practicing a lot more, we've been really focusing on our game rather than their game and trying to counter them too much. I feel like it's going to make a big difference.
And speaking of your game, Tommy's not playing today. Pretty surprising. Tell me about the lineup change.
So Joao's actually been practicing a ton lately. He hasn't been playing, but he's an insanely good 1v1 player. So we thought that we might as well switch it up and showcase to the world his talent.
Gotcha. I have to ask, it's a very intense match. How are you feeling? How are the nerves?
A little bit nervous, but I feel like, so we were on a streak of 3-0 and then we lost a game. It was kind of humbling ourselves a little bit. So we realized that we have to really take this seriously. But I feel like we're really a lot more concentrated this time.
All right. Well, thanks so much for talking to me. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Christy. Of course, nothing is settled yet in the North American region. Teams are on the bubble. Teams could make it up into those all-important top 2 spots. So the next few games between Tribe Gaming and compLexity are so important. Let's see how their squads prepare them in the war room to go to battle.
All right, boys, let's go. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Keep your eye on the ball. All right, look out there, guys. There's one podium from us, one podium for them, all right? That's all that matters. That is the ball. One podium from us, one podium for them, all right? When you guys get out there, you walk up to that podium, you play like you've never played, fellas. You walk up to that podium, you play calm. You walk up to the podium, you play confident, all right? You play like it's your last game of Clash Royale ever, all right? Let's do it. Let's go, guys.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Bring it in. 1, 2, 3. compLexity!
Guys, we're back in the room. This is our original color. We're back to the dynamic duo, the original duo for 2v2. I know you got this time. Joe, 1v1. You're ready. Let's go, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
Hype.
Tribe. Go. 3, 2, 1, Tribe. 3, 2, 1, Tribe!
Late season drama? Check. Playoffs on the line? Check. 2v2 mayhem? Check. Is it my birthday or something? Cause it doesn't get much better than this. Colton W83 and Raza, Oxalate and B-Rad, we're ready. Do the 2v2.
Big cheers from the benches knowing everything is on the line. Spots in the playoffs, spots in round 2. One of these squads going to make a big move towards Japan in the next few minutes.
Absolutely, Rich. Razor and Colton, W83 coming out for compLexity once again, 9-3 overall in 2v2 sets, proven to be one of, if not the best 2v2 duo here in North America. Their opponents, B-Rad and Oxlet, both 3-3 in the 2v2 sets, really 1v1 standouts, but finding a place here in 2v2 for Tribe.
Taking a look at the ban cards active for all our potential 3 games here in 2v2. And it is, once again, Double Tornado.
The Double Tornado ban. It's something we've actually seen a handful of times today, but really what's more interesting, Rich, is the playoff implications that leaves after these 2 guys are going to walk away from the battlefield today.
Yeah, that number 2 spot on the line for compLexity. Tribe Gaming fighting for a spot in 3 or 4.
Let's go, boys.
Go, baby.
Tribe Gaming's B-Rad, Oxlet, top of your screen. Colton and Razor, the wall at the bottom for compLexity.
Yep, and it looks like the wall's taken to the ground. Tribe going to the skies.
I'm always fascinated by the combination, Andrew, of the Lava Hound and the Night Witch together.
Yeah, as am I, and maybe it's just because in this deck composition here, it's about the Miner tanking for as many tiny flying units as possible. The bats with a very, very high attack speed and damage rate, honestly.
I guess the big question is there something that we're going to see on the ground in defense of the Night Witch to allow those bats to build up?
That's a good point, because that Night Witch is about to get popped by this Prince, and those guards coming in are probably the answer to that question you just asked, Rich. Going to be a great way to soak up that Prince charge and distract it, and honestly take him down when left alone.
The Poison, though, doing a good job against those support troops. Still, it's the right-hand tower of compLexity down to 2162.
Miner coming in the very back here for compLexity to get on top of that tower, but a great Electro-Wiz to stop. And this is a card that we've talked about a handful of times, but hasn't shown up a ton. Really going to be a great response to those Miners on tower. And this is also a little note for you guys at home, some of the less skilled players. You don't need to preemptively drop your Electro-Wizard ever to try to catch a Miner. You can always wait until the Miner shows up and then drop your Electro-Wizard, and you can still mitigate 100% of the damage.
Oh, Zap getting rid of most of the damage on that left-hand side. So now as we pass through the midway point of regulation time, it is Tribe Gaming with the slight lead on the right-hand tower, although a bit of dual lane damage done by compLexity.
And here's that rinse and repeat for you, Rich. This time nothing coming down to protect the Night Witch. She is out of play instantly, and so are the bats with that poison. Not the way, just you gotta pay the Night Witch a little more respect than that. Gotta pay, protect her a little bit.
So here we are in double elixir time, and Colton and Raz are playing very well, although that right-hand tower, 1892 so far, even with stopping those Night Witches, they have taken the brunt of the damage in this set.
I'm not sure why I feel this way, Rich, and I'm totally happy to admit being wrong in about 2 minutes here. But it feels to me that compLexity has had control of this game the entire time, even though they're at a damage deficit. I'm not sure why I feel that way, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of these golem pushes turn into a game for compLexity. It could be this one right here.
That is a lot,
and that's
the Prince on the tower. Charge on the tower, exactly.
It must be something with the way that they've been playing the defense and the way they've been managing their elixir that just made me a little bit uncomfortable throughout the entire match. It wasn't that they were playing badly, obviously getting a lot of damage down on compLexity's tower, but just something about the way they were putting together their offensive pushes and supporting them just isn't what you need to take a game here. And with the spell coming in for compLexity, that's going to be giving them this first game.
So a rematch of the first ever match in CRL North America starts the same way as the first, with Colton and Razor taking a commanding win in 2v2.
And Tribe really fighting back there at the very end. It was actually got a little bit scary for compLexity, them knowing they had a spell in hand. I'm sure felt very comfortable. And here was the beginning of that push. And pay attention to the Prince at home, guys. You'll see it comes in. Its charge does not get soaked up by the cannon. The cannon is taken out just in time. The charge actually in hand goes to the Princess Tower, then to the Lumberjack, taken out just enough for the Baby Dragon here with that lightning raged up, all of it in turn, leaving about 120 HP on that tower.
We've traveled so much distance, Andrew, since the first ever game of CRL North America to where we are now. It was a Mourner Miner deck being run by compLexity, and now here in crunch time, it's the Golem Prince doing the deed.
Go, boys. Let's go.
Game number 2. Your ban card still just the solo Tornado. And no surprises here, a Miner coming from Tribe Gaming.
Absolutely, and you see that Rocket in hand for Tribe as well. The Rocket being maybe the most effective spell in 2v2, and that seems like a very obvious statement because it does the most damage. However, when you miss with the Rocket, that is 6 wasted elixir, which is very hard to come back from in 2v2. But you see it coupled with the Tornado. Even though it's banned in this instance, units still pile up behind a Golem or a P.E.K.K.A, and then the Rocket coming down right on top of all of those can give you an absurd amount of value. For instance, if Tribe were to drop a Rocket right now and hit the Golem, the Prince, the Inferno Dragon, and the Mega Minion, that's obscene.
Instead, choosing to use the Inferno Dragon on the Golem, and still holding strong here at the bridge, but with that Lumberjack sneaking through, Miner played defensively. This will be a ton of damage, or at least a ton of elixir committed on the left-hand side, and yes, it still gets through.
It's a lot of both, Rich. It's absolutely a lot of both, and right there you saw it. I honestly believe Tribe should have opted to use the Rocket then. I understand why they didn't, thinking that they could maybe play defense a little more conservatively with all those other units and still save their spell. The other thing, too, is Rockets don't require any counter push potential, any defensive or offensive immersive response. They just happen and then they're gone. However, in that instance, the rocket would have taken out the Mega Minion, the Inferno Dragon, and done a good amount of damage to that Prince.
So now that we are halfway through regulation time, it is compLexity with a pretty solid lead, 1373 remaining on that left-hand tower, and a lot of defensive tools in their belt.
Yep, and all those tools paying off very, very handedly. compLexity now in a dominant lead with just 63 seconds left.
Double elixir time kicking off, and a lot coming down the left-hand lane, and trying to find a way through, but now with that Electro Wizard down, that might be the swan song for this 2v2 set.
Yes, I believe you're calling it correctly right there, Rich. It does feel like it is impossible to come back from at this point. compLexity showing that from day one, match one, game one, set one, however many ones I can throw in there, they have paid attention and respect to 2v2, and it has paid off so well for them here at CRL North America.
So a cheeky lane switch, but probably too little too late here for Tribe Gaming, trying to get on tower, do a little bit of damage, but still plenty there to pick it up. And so as the seconds tick away, Colton and Razor finishing this 2v2 set the way they started their first one, with a clean 2-game sweep, setting up their teammate Adrian Piedra to take things over in 1v1.
Absolutely, Rich. You've got to imagine that Cloud9 is sitting at the edge of their seats watching this match. They need compLexity to win to keep their playoff hopes not just alive, Rich, but just a little more comfortable in their standings.
And of course, TSM also watching this very closely, trying to chase Tribe into those playoff pictures.
Yes, and we hop into the replay here. You can always tell when your opponent is desperate with plays like that. Miners on defense, Cannon coming in late, no elixir in hand, Inferno Dragon on the tower, sizzling away, and Colton and Razor doing exactly what they've done since day one, match one, and that is establishing dominance in 2v2.
So there we go. It is 2v2 in the books. compLexity once again, Colton and Razor being some of the stars of this set. But 2v2's done, on to the 1v1. And this is where we found out it's not going to be Tommy. King Joao stepping in against Adrian Piedra.
Every day, these 1v1 players wake up, eat breakfast, and play Clash Royale. Well, King Joao and Adrian Piedra have had their cereal. I guess there's only one thing left to do. It's time for the 1v1 showdown.
Let's go, Adrian.
And an all-important showdown. It is a lot on the line for both of these squads at this stage in the season.
You love the sportsmanship there in the tunnel by Adrian and King Joao. Adrian Piedra coming out for compLexity. He is 6-6 in 1v1 sets. On the other side of it, King Joao coming out for Tribe Gaming. A bit of a mix-up here. I believe everyone and their mothers thought Tommy was going to come out today. Tribe throwing a quick one in there.
I'm pretty sure even Tommy's mother thought he'd come out today, but here we have King Joao, a little bit of juking here on behalf of Tribe Gaming. Let's look at the ban cards active for, again, all three games of our 1v1 set, and it is Tornado and Fireball.
Yeah, NATO and Fireball off the table, but what I really want to talk about here is Tribe throwing the quick one in there, knowing everyone was expecting Tommy and bringing out Joao.
So a big juke here. Adrian Piedra, though, probably prepared with the way this team gets ready for these 1v1 sets.
Let's go, Adrian.
Tribes, King Joao, top of your screen. Adrian Piedra for compLexity at the bottom. And surprise, 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 a lot of crying skeletons here from King Joao.
Yeah, he is known to be a BMer. We haven't seen him much here at all, only showing up in King of the Hill, having an overall record of 2-3. And now the sportsmanship in the tunnel kind of goes down the drain.
You can see Adrian Piedra kind of giggling in the bottom right corner like, geez, okay, man, you're going to break your thumb doing that.
I mean, he is trying to reach the BM limit. It is possible to do, and he is really on pace for it. And now, they might both just be playing it off, but you know a little bit in the back of Adrian's mind, he's like, all right, man.
Come on, dude, seriously?
I've been in this set 13 times now. Welcome.
And now he found a different one, so well done, King Joao. There are other emotes. So this is interesting, Andrew, because we talked earlier about how this typically means someone's playing beatdown, or they're both playing beatdown, but we were proven wrong last time.
We absolutely were. I mean, both the pros there not wanting to make the first move. Who knows if it really comes down to an issue of pride at that point, because you saw when a log was thrown, another log was thrown, and both those decks were not really beatdown dependent. And now Joao, getting tired of pushing just those BM buttons, sends some bats down the lane.
It is split bats, and oh my gosh, what a move. I cannot believe it.
Adrian playing magnificent defense, cleaning up all 5 of those bats, but taking a lot of damage here on the left side tower with that log.
You know, getting those princesses to target those bats, so challenging, Andrew.
You know, it's really important to split up your units here early on in the game, to not commit too hard just to one tower.
All right, here we get into serious mode. It is 11 seconds left till double elixir, and we should see some stuff coming down here in 2, 1, and...
They just want to make us look. There it is, Rich.
There we go. The golem in the back. And King Joao...
Again, yeah, the same type of thing that happened before, Rich. It was the Royal Hogs deck with the Electro Wiz that they decided to wait. Now, I understand that, and maybe it's because Joao had this Inferno Dragon in hand, or at least in rotation, knowing he had a great response to a beatdown deck.
Yeah, maybe he believes he can stop this push and take advantage. That is quite a gamble here, though, Andrew.
I couldn't agree more, Rich. And the Mega Knight coming in is definitely the reason why he felt so comfortable. But that Mega Knight is about to get eaten up, and that Bandit is going to destroy that Electro Wizard. Look at that, Rich.
And that is a lot of damage on tower, and now it's Adrian's turn to figure out where those BM buttons are.
Absolutely feeling great to throw those BMs right back to Joao's face. We've all been there before. You get the BMs early on and you make a great play. Always feels nice to throw a couple back.
Although this is an interesting moment now, Andrew, because King Joao, as soon as that golem comes down, could just keep this pressure on the right-hand lane and steal this thing out from under the complexity representative.
And I was going to say, I bet you Adrian completely ignores it. He doesn't. He sends in a Lumberjack and a Mega Minion to support this left-hand push, because that golem getting on the tower is going to be enough. Probably because I was going to say, he's got to have a spell in that last spot. Joao knows it. And now you're wondering if Joao's thinking, I might have wasted just a little bit of time at the beginning of that game. He had a lot of defensive answers, Rich.
Compelling, interesting choices here, and that's where that dance gets so strange when you go, okay, who's going to blink first? And looking at King Joao's deck, maybe it's rotation, but you got to wonder why he waited so long.
Now, you see Adrian here again, not wanting to commit too much to defense, knowing that we are in overtime, and he couldn't imagine losing with this lead that he has. But yeah, he knew that golem was going to get to tower. He knew he had a spell in hand. It was basically a gimme after that first exchange.
So there you have it, complexity, 1 game away from the full sweep here against Tribe Gaming. A very, very close and important match for this one between these two squads.
Let's go, Adrian.
Game number 2, and you know, King Joao has been a very interesting player to watch here at CRL, Andrew. Not of course just because of the BMs, but because he seems to be kind of an unconventional player.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love the unconventional use of him here. It's one of those moments where if it works, you look like a genius. If it doesn't, you might look like a fool. But pulling the quick one on complexity to bring in Joao, who's been practicing relentlessly, as you've heard from his team, as we heard from his coach before the game, it could have paid off wonderfully. However, right now, Adrian taking that first game handedly, it's starting to look like it might kind of bite him in the butt, Rich.
It certainly could backfire, although... You know, hindsight is always 20/20.
I mean, Tommy's played in an absurd amount of games and only lost 1. So again, he's only lost 1 set. So I understand wanting to keep your opponent on their heels. However, if you've got a knockout artist, do you really want to bench him in a moment like this?
Well, remember also Tribe Gaming, not at the end of their season. They still do have Immortals in front of them, so 1 more chance to get that very important 8th win.
Yes, it's very excited here in the NA over the next week. We've got so many things to still be decided, and now we've got that very interesting graveyard deck with the Furnace, that Bar Barrel, an excellent way to apply a graveyard with some pressure for only 7 elixir.
So King Joao showing Flying Machine, Guards, Inferno Dragon.
Got to imagine Lava Loon. It's got to be those last 2, or at least one of them would be a Lava Hound.
Well, so far, so there you do see the Lava Hound.
And this becomes one of those things where there's not a ton of ground responses for Joao, but he has the guards and the poison, which are both excellent to respond to that graveyard. And there we go, Lava Loon coming in. You can always pretty much expect that when you see the guards and the Tombstone coupled with air units.
So the balloon trying to shift its way through, and a very nice furnace to pull it all the way over to the second furnace, so perfectly defended by Adrian Pietro.
Yeah, really nice double furnace there. A full bar of elixir for Adrian, taking the damage on the left, graveyarding in the right. This is a lot to deal with. An excellent bar barrel coming in, knowing that those guards were the best response, and that is huge.
That is a massive tower down with just 22 seconds left. Adrian Pietro, or King Joao might try to sneak a balloon in here, but will he have time? I don't think it was in rotation, so 12 seconds left. That should be it with the furnace down. It is Adrian Pietro coming up with a big win and securing a spot at the top of the standings, second place currently, and definitely a spot in our playoffs.
And he could not help but celebrate at the podium. He knew when he took that tower, it was such a monumental moment for his team. And now a team that really looked unstoppable, and then it looked like they were just lucky at the beginning of the season, losing 4 in a row, has now bounced back. 2 more wins in a row shows you compLexity is exactly where they belong, and that is at the top and in the playoffs, Rich.
Wow, just unbelievable. The roller coaster ride for this squad, up and down, starting off 6 in a row.
Yeah.
Then losing 4 in a row. And now here we are, moving to 9-4 in their record. We'll look at the standings in a little bit. We will look at the playoff picture in a little bit, but right now, let's look at this replay.
I mean, the double furnace, we all saw it go down. I think we were all a little surprised that he got back around to it, had the elixir, knew what was going on. He opts to eat the damage in the left, and I want you guys to pay attention to that. He eats a lot of damage on the left because he knows what's on the right. He's got 2 cards on the ground, Joao does. He's got the Tombstone and the guards. The Tombstone's already in the back, so that means he has to meet the guards at the river. And what does he do? He bar barrels it and takes that tower. Wonderfully played, completely, perfectly executed, picking your opponent's cycle apart.
Adrian Pietro had such a rough mid part of the season, getting swept by OP Sam, getting swept by Roy, or losing 3 games to Royal, 3 games to Baron, but then as of late, sweeping Carter, closing out King of the Hill against Energy, closing out 1v1 here in this match as well. So let's go to Adrian Pietro, who has some words to give us with Christy St. John.
Thanks, guys. Adrian taking the 1v1 set and the match. How's it feel?
Oh, great, to be honest. It's good for us because we're contending for the top 1. I don't know if it's possible, but, well, I hope so. We're giving our best, even if we can or not, I don't know. But we're just playing our game.
And a great game it is. Tell me about that double furnace kite, something I've never seen before.
Well, to be honest, I knew I can cycle back. That's why I furnace in the other lane to pressure him. He put a Tombstone, and, well, I will eat the Tombstone. And then, since double elixir was coming, I knew I can cycle back to another furnace. And since he has sap, he can't kill the Dark Goblin, the Rascals, the Mega Minion. He can just poison all, but that's why graveyard, so he wastes the poison in defense, so he can't kill my units in my side.
Perfect. And speaking of double elixir, in the first game you didn't even play for 2 minutes. Tell me about that strategy with the beatdown deck.
Well, basically, if you have Golem, at least if you have Golem in your first 4 hands or in the next card, it's fine, just wait, because the Golem is way more powerful in double elixir time, so that's it.
Yeah, clearly you played it right. Well, great game. Thanks so much for talking to me. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Christy. And Adrian Pietro asking, can they still make number 1? Well, Andrew, take us to the standings and show us if it's possible.
Yes, it is possible. If you look at this at the top, you are now 9-4, Adrian, tied with Immortals at the top. Immortals playing TSM next week. If they lose, you'll be number 1. However, that game with Team Solo Mid means everything for Tribe Gaming and Cloud9. Those top 5 positions still up for grabs.
Immortals playing Tribe Gaming next week. It's going to be Cloud9 versus TSM coming at you on Tuesday, October 16th. And that's a big one as well for our playoff implications. If TSM beats Cloud9, not only do they put themselves up the rankings, but also they open the door for Tribe Gaming to leap Cloud9 and push them out of the playoff picture. So nothing is settled yet. A lot still has to happen here for teams to make their chances open for our World Finals.
Absolutely. Those World Finals will be taking place in Tokyo, Japan on December 1st. But if you're here in the States with us, it's actually November 30th, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. Don't miss it.
And you don't have to miss it because you can hit subscribe on the Clash Royale Esports YouTube page and ring that bell to get all notifications. You can also go to esports.clashroyale.com to follow along with all your information. And don't forget the esports tab in your Clash Royale app. As I said, we'll be back Tuesday, October 16th with that very important TSM Cloud9 match that really decides a lot for Cloud9, TSM, and Tribe Gaming. And of course, Tribe and Immortals rounding out the action the following Thursday of next week. So make sure you're here for all the action. For my buddy Andrew Guy, I'm Rich Slayton. We will see you back next week here in the arena.
Phew, what a day! What a glorious, destruction-filled day! I will never tire of fireballs flying through the air, nor towers crumbling under the late-season pressure. I am once again floored by the heroics of these CRL warriors on the battlefield. It can't get any better than this, or can it? The playoffs are right around the corner, and then on to Tokyo for the World Finals. So amazing as it's been, it's going to get way, way better. Stay tuned, subscribe to the Clash Royale Esports channel, and remember, the Night Witch does come out during the day, but you should see her after dark. She is the life of the party. Ha ha!